We are back with the breakdowns, and in this video we are going to be taking a look at defensive end Austin Bryant. Bryant's breakdown will be a little bit different today because he has not been with the Detroit Lions. He's a rookie. So with that being said, we have to take a more detailed look at his early years of his life or his college days because he doesn't have any numbers or anything with the Detroit Lions that we can really look at. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. Before we start, make sure you let me know in the comments below players you want to see me break down next time, and we'll definitely do those. Austin Bryant was born November 12th, 1996. He went to Thomas County Central High School in Georgia. Yes, in Georgia. I mean, every single player, it seems like that we're doing a breakdown of, went to Georgia. So he went to Georgia once again, and he was a top 150 recruit in the nation. Not bad. Pretty high recruit, and he ended up committing to Clemson. And obviously Clemson is one of the best college football schools at this point. They may be the best. You could probably make that argument. The last couple of years they have been outstanding, but it's always them in Alabama, right? Well, Clemson definitely became really good. So he went to a great college football school, and as we know, throughout the draft there was plenty of defensive players drafted from Clemson. So one thing I want you guys to keep in mind as I go through his stats, he was with a lot of talented players. I mean, he was with guys like Christian Wilkins and Clelin Ferrell on that defensive line, guys that were drafted in the first round. I think Clelin Ferrell went like number 4, which surprised everybody. But either way, that's the kind of competition that he had. But at the same time, when he was on the field, it took a lot of pressure off of Austin Bryant because he really didn't have to be the main focus of an offense. They didn't focus on him like they did the other players, which let him get loose. And as you'll see later in his career, he actually had some really big numbers. So starting off in 2015, when he was a freshman, he played in 9 games where he had 22 total tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 1.5 sacks. Again, he was a freshman here, and he won the 12th man award. Don't really know what that means, but that's what he won as a freshman. Either way, it was kind of hard for him to find playing time early in his career because of how much talent was around him. You'll see here in 2016, he only played in 7 games where he had 13 total tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, and 2.5 sacks. So even here, you can just look at this example. It's a sophomore. 13 total tackles, but 4.5 tackles for loss. I mean, he had a knack for getting into the backfield and making plays, whether it was a sack, because in that year he had 2.5 sacks, or it was just making a tackle in the backfield. You'll see that in his next 2 years now. And in 2017, he was a breakout player. He really took over. He took off as a defensive end, and he played in 14 games where he had 50 total tackles, 15.5 tackles for loss, and 8.5 sacks. 1 interception and 2 forced fumbles. That was his stat line for 2017. That was a junior year. So again, he only had 50 total tackles, but 15.5 tackles for loss. Like I use ridiculous too much. That's crazy. That's insane. Like that's crazy numbers that Austin Bryant was putting up. Then as a senior, really didn't disappoint. Played in 15 games, 45 total tackles, 15 tackles for loss, and again, 8.5 sacks. This is something that a lot of people liked about Austin Bryant. They didn't think, okay, this guy was able to fit schemes. He struggled fitting schemes. He had too many weaknesses. But you couldn't deny that he had production, and that's what he always put up. He put up numbers. So with that being said, since people didn't see that he could fit in a scheme or things like that, which is crazy, he ended up falling to the 4th round where the Detroit Lions selected him, as we know. And because of that, the Detroit Lions got a great player late in the draft, which was an absolute steal. We're going to the pre-draft now. He was a 5.65 prospect grade, and he was a 6'4", some people say 6'5", 271-pound defensive end. He doesn't actually have like his combine numbers. I'll get to that a little bit later. But the first thing I want to do is look at some strengths and weaknesses coming out of college for Austin Bryant. Now, he was known as a rangy edge rusher because he could get on the outside, he could get to the backfield, he had a knack for making plays back there, like I said. In his junior and senior year, he definitely showed that. He even showed that in his down years. Most of his tackles came in the backfield. So, looking at some of his strengths that I came up with watching film on him is that he's a lengthy and speedy defensive end. This guy has speed when he needs to. Now, he's not overall just like a downhill speed runner. But at the same time, when he needs that little burst of speed, he has that. He's also a very lengthy guy on the edge that really helps him out make moves and get around. And he can take the long way around as a defensive end. Now, he also does seem to have a couple of moves, which is actually a good thing because you sometimes see players that really don't make a move. They just kind of run by the guy. And that's great and all until it stops working. Once offensive linemen can stop you from getting to the outside, then you really don't have another move. That's a problem. So you have to be able to counterattack as a defensive end. And I see that Austin Bryant can do a few things there. He's also good at cutting off corners, so he's a good corner guy. Maybe like a little guy that can set the edge, right? If a handoff goes to the right side and he's on the edge, he can maybe get out there and set the edge, which is really nice. He also, like I said, has that little extra burst. So it seems like when he gets back there near the quarterback, he has an extra burst to bring him down. And that's something that you have to see because a lot of times you'll see, especially with mobile quarterbacks, or even immobile quarterbacks, which is kind of upsetting. But your defensive end or defensive lineman will get in the backfield to make the play. whether it's a running back or a quarterback, and they won't have the extra burst to bring him down. The quarterback or running back will be able to escape, and that's super unfortunate. I hate when that happens. But it seems like Austin Bryant stays away from it a lot, and that's why his numbers are so high, because he always was able to get that extra burst and get the ball carrier down, whoever that was. He also, like I said, he finds quarterbacks very well. He just has a knack for it. That's just what he does, and he makes a lot of backfield plays. Now, looking at his weaknesses, it seems like his technique / balance is a little bit weak, but he's definitely been working on that. His play diagnosis is definitely weak, and that's something that's really important. But at the same time, one thing that we do know is as long as he's in the backfield, he can make the play whether the quarterback has it or the running back has it. So his diagnosis isn't always great, and sometimes that can cause him to make mistakes, but he's a rookie and he'll figure that out as time goes on. He also can struggle at filling gaps, which again, as a defensive end is important, but I think he'll definitely be able to figure that out with Matt Patricia. And then finally, he plays a little too tall at times, which kind of takes away from the speed, but it is what it is. I think he'll have to learn that. It's something that he'll have to make himself do, is just stay down all the time. Now, you guys are probably asking, well, what about his pre-draft measurables? What about his combine? Well, he actually didn't have any of that because he actually tore his pectoral muscle. And because he tore his pectoral muscle back in November 3rd versus Louisville, he doesn't have any of these numbers. He wasn't in this, but he did say in multiple interviews that he is confident that he's putting the work in, he's going to be fine, he's going to be ready to go, because a lot of teams are like, well, if he can't do any of his numbers and we don't know anything about him, how are we going to draft him? So that definitely hurt his stock a little bit, but he basically said, I'm confident with what I could do, and the Detroit Lions took the risk, I guess you could say, went out and drafted this man in the 4th round, and they took a great risk. Austin Bryant is going to be awesome with the Detroit Lions. Let me just say that. He's coming into a defensive line that is stacked. I can say that simply. This is a stacked defensive line that has a lot of playmakers, and he won't have to come in and play a very big role in his rookie season. We also have a lot of young guys, so these guys aren't going anywhere, most likely. We have Trey Flowers, who we added in, who's definitely going to help him out there on the edge, but Trey Flowers can move around a little bit. But you have multiple guys he can look up to, like Romeo Okwara. There's just so many good defensive linemen that we have right now. He's going to learn very fast. He's going to get in some of the rotation, and he's going to be making a lot of plays because, like college, he's not going to be a guy that a lot of offense is focused on because we have so many other talented players. When he's out there, he's going to have big games. So I expect a lot from Austin Bryant, but as a rookie, he won't have a lot of rotational time because, he's a rookie. So I don't think we have to. That's why we took him in the 4th round. It wasn't like an urgent need for the Detroit Lions, but it's super nice to see this man on our team. This is a great pick, Bob Quinn. I can tell you right now, this is going to be a great player for the Detroit Lions. So that is a little breakdown of Austin Bryant. If you guys have anyone else you want me to break down, make sure you let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter and click the link in the description. We now have 3 products up on the shop. One that was actually asked for a while, so definitely go check that out. Super cool stuff over there. Anyways, thank you, Pride, for watching, and I'm out.